Hey guys, so we'll get started at 3 minutes after the hour. I'm gonna do a full SeneGence face of makeup. And because we have an hour, I'm basically going to use as many of the products as humanly possible. So even though on a normal day, I usually only wear like tinted moisturizer and maybe a little bit of some color on my cheek and some lip color, I'm gonna do like full glam makeup for y'all today. So that way you get kind of the whole picture. So as usual, we're going to start at 3 minutes after the hour to give people a couple minutes to log on, and I'm going to clean my lows. All right. So I actually think I'm going to just go ahead and get started because people can rewind if they want to watch the playback later. So the first thing I'll start out with is your makeup routine should start with a clean face every day. And then you should apply a daytime moisturizer. I use the Acne line. It works amazing for my skin. I love it. So the first thing I do every day is daytime moisturizer. And when you're talking to your customers about this, sometimes your customers will say things like, oh, I can't use a daytime moisturizer. My skin is too oily. It makes my skin too oily. That is not true. So if you are cleansing your skin, and you should be cleansing it in the morning after you sleep on it all night, sweat, oil, all that stuff that gets on your pillow, all the product from your hair that gets on your pillow, like cleanse your skin in the morning. That's really important, especially if you have breakouts. But if you cleanse your skin and you're using a soap and a cleanser, it's going to pull moisture out of your skin. If you don't add moisture back into your skin is going to say, oh my God, we have to start creating a lot of oil now. So if you have oily skin, if you are stripping moisture out of your skin and then not putting a moisturizer on, your skin oil production is going to go into hyperdrive. So one thing I always tell people, which is a little counterintuitive, especially if they have oily skin, is they really need to be using a daytime moisturizer before they apply their cosmetics, because their skin is going to create a lot more oil if they don't. If their skin is like, oh, okay, we've got some oil here, we don't need to produce anything, then you've got healthy moisturization without all that extra oil being added to the surface. So definitely that. And then the other thing is sun protection. So all of our daytime moisturizers provide at least the equivalent of 15 SPF, which is a mechanical shield, which is basically like putting a shirt on over your face. So the difference between a mechanical shield and an SPF is an SPF is a chemical shield. And if you put on 15 SPF of one product and then 15 SPF of another product, you still have 15 SPF. But with a mechanical shield, because it's like putting on a t-shirt, putting on 15 mechanical shield and then another 15 mechanical shield actually gives you 30, because it's like putting two shirts over your face instead of one shirt. So that's an important thing to remember as you're applying all of your stuff, because my daytime moisturizer has 15. My color correcting tinted moisturizer has 15. My foundation has 15. I think even some of the powders have some mechanical shield in them. So as you're doing those things, you can actually improve your sun protection on your face, which is very, very important. So because we are going to do a full face, I'm going to show you first color correcting tinted moisturizer. And this is really what I wear on the most day-to-day basis. Aside from applying my foundation, most things that I put on my face, I put on with a brush for two reasons. One, I don't like adding oil and dirt and things from my fingers to my face. And then two is that it actually generally applies better and gives you like a really nice airbrush look. And when you're applying with your fingers, it can look kind of streaky and doesn't do the best. So I actually have a brush that I use for my foundation, my tinted moisturizer, kind of like all of it. And I just kind of buff it on. And I do that as a first step. And then my next step is going to be concealing and a little under eye highlighting as well. It doesn't take a whole lot. You can tell by how wet your brush is when you need to apply a little bit more, and you don't need to go crazy. So for me, tinted moisturizer comes first. And then after that, we're going to do a couple of things before we apply foundation. So the first thing that we're going to do is Silk. So Silk is a pore minimizer, and it will help reduce the size of pores like as a long-term solution. So I know a lot of people who use Silk twice a day. They use it once as a foundation primer, and then they use it in the evening in order to actually reduce the size of their overall pores. It pulls them in. So this is both the Band-Aid and the cure, essentially, for large, oversized pores. So when you are applying this, I also use the same brush. It's really, really important when you're using Silk to use it the right way. And the right way is to apply it in a downward motion, because what that's going to do is fill in your pores. But here's the trick. After you apply your Silk, you have to continue using a brush, and you either need to apply down when you put on your foundation, or you need to use a stippling motion, which is like a tapping motion. If you go up, you're just going to displace your Silk right out of where you put it. So I'm going to just do a little light tapping motion here and put it all over my face. And then I'm going to actually go down and use this to fill in my pores. And it smells really good. I don't know what it is about this product. It just smells amazing. But you're going to want to go in a downward motion here with your brush. All right. So at this point is when, if you don't have any like real concealing to do, you can go ahead and move on to foundation. But I want to show you some concealing tricks. So the first thing I'm going to show you is under my eyes. I always have dark places under my eyes. It's just, I think, kind of genetically how I'm built. They've got better using the anti-dark circle, but I still need some help there. I just have like fluids and things that accumulate there. So when I do that, I actually go in and I put some dots in where the dark lines are. And then I come down a little bit. I know it looks like a lot right now, but I'm going to use this little brush. And I'm just going to go in here into these areas where the shadows kind of collect. And the color I'm using right now is actually a shadow, and it's called Whisper Pink. A lot of people use Sandstone Pearl, which is a very light neutral shade. And then a lot of people also use Candlelight if they have a little bit darker shade. Me, I'm like white, kids. Man, I'm white. So I use Whisper Pink for highlighting and underneath my eye. And you can tell, even just right now, how much brighter this eye looks than this side. So I'm going to go in and do the same thing. You can do it one of two ways. So on the last one, I did the wand and I just touched it to my eye, or you can just take the tip of your brush and dab it on your wand and then come in and apply. I know it looks like I have a ton right now, but I'm going to blend that in. And you can also go into the inside of your eye here where things get a little dark. And you can go over your entire eye as well and just kind of like lay a foundation for your eyeshadow later. So right now that's going to look really bright because I just applied it. But remember, I haven't put my foundation on yet. And I'm just going to even out this eye since I didn't do the lid. One of the things that I really love about our eyeshadows is that because they're a cream to powder and because they have our skincare in them, our Cineplex complex, they don't damage the tissue around your eyes like a lot of powders. If you think about your skin is meant to be, when it's healthy, like plump and moisturized. Think about a surface, like a countertop, and you have some fluid on it, like water or whatever. If you were to drop powder onto that surface, it is going to absorb the moisture from that surface. And it's going to bleach it out of that surface. So if you're thinking about your skin being something that you want to remain hydrated, when you use powders on your skin, they leach hydration out of your skin. So if you've seen women who have like their eyelids are very like thin and it's called crepey, like where if you drag a brush across their eyelid, like the skin kind of comes with it, it is probably because they've been using powder eyeshadows for most of their life, and those powder eyeshadows have leached the moisture out of their skin. Mm-hmm. So you can see not only that our products do a great job of, going on, applying, staying all day, they will actually impart moisture into their skin and will help those folks regain some of that moisture and reduce that crepey, thin appearance. Okay, so I've done this highlighting under my eye, and the next concealing I am going to show you is our green concealer. So I have a lot of redness in my skin. My skin is very white, and then it's pink. So there's really not any kind of tan to it, and I have this little like kind of fat, dense little brush here that I apply like a dot of green concealer to. And I have some acne over here that has some redness. So I'm going to use green concealer over here just to cancel out that red. Our green concealer is perfect. If you've ever tried a green concealer before and it was too green and you were like, this does not work, this looks crazy, you will really like this product. So I'm going to go in and kind of neutralize some of like the less flattering pink and red tones on my skin here, just by dabbing on this product. And remember, I'm doing this dabbing motion because I don't want to go back and forth and around in circles and mess up my soap. So I'm using this dabbing motion called stippling all over my face. And this is where a lot of my redness is, around my jawline, because it's also where I break out. It's like a hormonal thing. So I do the green concealer. And then as the next step, if you need more concealing, you can grab your natural concealer, which I have here somewhere. You can grab your natural concealer and continue to cover up any blemishes or whatever, but green concealer does it for me, and so I don't actually need this one. We also have a white highlighter, and the white highlighter would serve the same purpose as what I did underneath my eyes. I just like to use double duty cosmetics. So I just like using Whisper Pink, and I tend to just kind of use that every day. It's like one of my go-tos, and it makes my eyes nice and bright. Like you can see how big of a difference that made around my eyes looking sleepy and tired. All right, so we've talked about concealing. So let's go on to foundation. There's a couple of great tricks with foundation. I tend to just apply my foundation. So I'm going to use the stippling motion, and I'm going to show you how I do that. But you can actually mix your foundation with pearlizer, and pearlizer is so stinking pretty. I love this. I love it in the summer. I love that whole sun-kissed J-Lo glow thing. So pearlizer is awesome. When you're mixing things together, you don't have to make this complicated. It doesn't need to go on a palette or whatever. Just like take a squeeze of your foundation and put it on the lid. Take a squeeze of your pearlizer and put it on the lid. Mix it up, dab it on, and then flip your brush around to apply it and spread it out evenly. Like you don't have to do anything crazy. I just use the lid, and then I just flip it upside down and like just wipe it across my washcloth when I'm done. So I'm going to use my Almond AAA foundation today because I'm out of my original. And I actually like the formula for Almond. I think it's like the tiniest shade different than the original. I don't know why. It may be a mental thing. I could just be like mentally committed to this product. But I think it looks fine. So I'm going to use the Almond AAA. And like I said, stippling motion because I don't want to displace my silk that I put on. And I'm going to go all the way up in here. And so even though my eyes are still going to be highlighted, they're not going to be excessively highlighted. They're not going to like pop out and make me look like a deer or something crazy. And then I'm going to put another little like stripe on. It's not a whole lot. I don't think that I want to use like a ton of product, but our product is buildable, especially if you're using this stippling motion. So if you need more coverage, you can go for it. And because our product is so light and has skincare in it, I don't think that you could ever really make it super cakey. So even if you go in with several layers because you have concealing issues that you need to like get in there and cover up, you're not going to feel nasty, I don't think. At least I never have, even when I was still starting out and I still had skin issues. So again, so you can see like I'm just applying it and stippling. So next I'm going to actually show y'all how to do some contouring. Contouring is kind of fun. I was really scared of it at first. I had seen people, I looked up contouring online and had seen people doing something that's called baking, where they're creating like these sections on their face. And it's a lot of different color. It looks like a lot of product. I took one look at it and was like, I'm never going to do that because that appears insane. Oh, and don't forget, when you're applying your foundation, come down a little bit into your neck, just so you don't get that baseline. And then the other thing is one thing you'll notice about your skin tone is you probably have a shade like of really white skin right here. It's because the sun comes down and your chin blocks that. So like down here, I'm like pretty pink and red. And then right here, I am super white. So be sure to bring it over out to your ear, bring it over out to your ear, and make sure you don't stop right at your jawline. And you can also make sure you kind of get up into your hairline so it doesn't look crazy too. All right, so I've got my foundation on, and now I'm going to show you some basic contouring. All right, so my basic contouring friend is Mocha Java. Let me grab it. So I use the matte Mocha Java, and I use a thick, fluffy brush. I also happen to use this brush for like blush and other things. I'm kind of like, I use like 3 brushes. I have a whole thing of brushes, tons of brushes. I use like 3 of them. All right. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to do a couple things. So the main places that people contour are right down the sides of their nose if they want to make their nose more narrow. And then they also highlight right underneath, or they contour right underneath their cheekbone to make their faces look thinner. And then I also have a pretty big forehead. So when I'm taking pictures and doing things, I like to go in and do some contouring up here. And it will pull my forehead in. Honestly, I do use the cheap ones from Amazon. These pink set are called BS Mall, and I think they were $10. I've not had a big problem with shedding. I clean them. You can tell they don't have a ton of makeup on them. I clean them once every 2 weeks with our brush cleaner. And then I also like Morph or whatever. They are these white handled ones. And they're also inexpensive, like $10. And I'm kind of irresponsible. So if I pay $10 for a set of brushes and they start being shady, I just go away and get new ones. And then I also got another brand called Shany, and they're really comparable to BS Mall and to Morphe. And I got a huge like makeup artist kit. It's like a fold over kit with like 20 brushes in it for I think $15 maybe. So for that kind of investment, instead of paying like $200, I can just replace them every 6 months or whatever. But I've been using these for a long time, and I thought they've held up really well. And these are the BS Mall brand from Amazon that are cheap. There's a little dachshund running around in my room right now. Okay, so for contouring, I'm going to start up here, and I'm going to use Mocha Java, and I'm going to put some dots on. And the first time I did this, I was like, oh my God, this is insane. I'm never going to get this blended in. But you do. And you just start over here and go in with your thick, fluffy brush. Now, the kind of brush that you use is very important for this. It doesn't matter the brand, but it needs to be very dense and very fluffy. If you use one that is not very fluffy, like this little guy right here, it's like very thin at the top, This guy is not going to get done what you need to get done, and you need to be able to blend. But see, it's pretty subtle. But you can see the darkness here, and it actually pulls your forehead in a little bit if you have a big, white, shiny forehead like I do. So I'm going to take a little more Mocha Java here, and I'm going to do, hi, Mickey. Here, hang on. This is Mickey the Dachshund. He's the cutest dog on the planet, and he looks like a puppy even though he's like 12 years old. Okay. And then, oh, hey, here's a little note. So say you're doing your makeup and the dog comes in and you get distracted and all of a sudden your color has set more than you intended for it to. Take a little daytime moisturizer and add it. Good to go. Our creamy cosmetics are pretty much our daytime moisturizer with color pigmentation in them. So if your eyeshadow goes a little too far, like seriously your kid throws up or whatever happens and you didn't get it blended, add a little bit of daytime moisturizer to it, just using like a little brush here, and go back in and work it, and it'll start blending for you. So if you go a step too far, grab some daytime moisturizer. So the next area I'm going to do is I don't do much with my nose. I don't feel like it needs it. Let me find the right brush for this real quick so I don't show you the wrong thing. Okay, so if you want to do your nose and you want to like bring in your nose a little bit, you can take some of the Mocha Java and then just light dots right here. Light dots. Right? Because what you're using here is to create a shadow. Sorry, it's really hard to do this into my phone because the lighting and the size of it is way different than my mirror. So you want it to be, you know, pretty well blended here. And it will actually create the illusion of a thinner nose if you darken on the outside. Now the other place that I'm going to show you is to contour under your cheekbone. So this is the top of my cheekbone, like you can feel it. And then if you take your finger and you put it right up under where that cheekbone is, this is where I'm going to contour. Like this is my finger up underneath my cheekbone. And so I'm using the same color, the Mocha Java, and I'm going right in this dark spot. And I know that looks like a lot. It looks really scary. It looks like a ton of color. But as soon as I go in and blend it, it really is not that much color, even on my super fair skin. But again, the brush is important. It has to be a very dense, thick, fluffy brush to get that correct. See? And even from the front, you can tell there's more of a line here. Don't go down too far. When you're contouring, you really want to stop no further than the center of your pupil. You don't want to go in any further than your pupil. Like you don't want to make any dark color in this area, right? So pupil over for contouring. And then I'm going to do the same thing on this side. I'm going to make some dark dots with my Mocha Java. Something on my face. And then I'm going to go in and blend it. And again, when I first started doing this, I was like, that's too dark for my skin. I'm very white. That's going to look ridiculous on me. And I was really surprised once I started doing it and just playing with it, how cool it looked. So it actually, like, you can start to see like a lot of shape to my face. And let's see. So the next thing I want to do, since I'm doing contouring and face, is, so I'll show you. So I love cherry. Cherry is an acquired taste. Cherry is so pink. It is easy to go hooker red on this one. You have to be careful with it. So like, I don't know if you can even see this, but see there's like the tiniest little, like a quarter of a dot on the top of here. I take the little tiny corner of a dot, dab it on here, and that's what I do on my actual cheekbone. So you know how when we were contouring, we did it under the cheekbone? If you use a blush, it goes on your actual cheekbone. And if you just do like a tiny quarter of a dot, like I'm pressing it so gently right now, this will last me 10 years. And then I'm going to blend that in. A lot of people, especially when they're first starting to use cherry because it is so pigmented, you could take your pearlizer, you put a tiny little dot on the top of your pearlizer container, and then you put your pearlizer on, mix it with the back of your thing, dab it on, and then go in and then apply it. And pearlizer is so forgiving. So if you apply a little too much, you can grab your pearlizer or your daytime moisturizer and it'll help you out a ton. So that's what I usually use for my blush is cherry. It just looks pretty on my skin. But toasted rose is not nearly as finicky. Chocolate cherry isn't nearly as finicky. Terracotta isn't as finicky. Really only cherry is the one that's super finicky and you need to be really careful about how much you apply. So here's my next little trick, eye illuminator. So I like eye illuminator, but I don't like eye illuminator right up underneath my eye. For some reason, it's like a little too reflective or something. But where I do love eye illuminator is I apply it on my finger and I do it right across the very top of my cheekbone. And then when I take pictures or if I look this direction, there's this like beautiful like luminescence right here. And so I'll do that underneath my eye, not right up underneath my eye, but like right down here. And it creates this like really pretty shine. And then the other place I apply it is right over my brows here on my brow bone. And it's so pretty and it comes out really, really pretty in pictures. And then another place you can apply it is right over your Cupid's bow. And it will highlight the Cupid's bow up here. And then I just do the top of my chin a little bit. And it's really pretty. I love it. I don't think I'm actually using this product as intended. I don't know, but I just use it. I like it. So tell me real quick, what kind of eye makeup do y'all want to see? Do y'all want to see like a daytime look or do y'all want me to see like a medium dark look or do you want to see a dark look or what kind of eye makeup are y'all curious about? Let me flip over to the chat. A daytime look. Okay. So actually, I'll start with the daytime look, and then I'll even show you how to transition it. So the first thing that you're going to do for a daytime look for most folks is you're going to start with a basic color. So if you remember, I had Whisper Pink, and I applied it underneath my eye. I really, just went in there and applied it all over my eye. And having a base color on is good to create kind of a foundation for blending. Because blending is the name of the game when you're using these. And I use really good, like, fluffy brushes. And by really good, I mean cheap off of Amazon. But they're good because they're, like, thick and fluffy. And you want to use synthetic brushes with our products. And the way you can tell a synthetic brush is because it's black and then white is synthetic. If it's black all the way, let me show you, like this kind, that is not a synthetic brush. Synthetic brushes work best with our cosmetics and they don't absorb as many of the cosmetics. So the first color is going to be your transition color, and it's going to go over quite a bit of your eye. And I either use Mulberry, Copper Rose, or Mocha Java. Those are just good colors for me. They work right on my skin. I can use any of those as my middle color. So I don't know. Let's do Mulberry. I like Mulberry. So also the other trick with Mulberry is it is a great cheek color. So very frequently on my 5-minute makeup days, I put on color correcting tinted moisturizer. I use Mulberry on my cheekbones. I use Mulberry in my crease. I put on some lip scents, and I'm literally out the door in 5 or 6 minutes max. So for these colors, I'm going to go in here and I'm going to put it in the corner of my eye, all the way to the outside of my eye. My eyes are not wide set; they're pretty normal. But I don't want to put a lot of dark color on the inside of my eyes because it will pull them together and make them look closer set. So when I do my eye makeup, I draw my colors to the outside of my eye to pull my eyes apart and make them bigger and wider. And so the mulberry, you'll see that I applied it through here. I came fairly far in here. I'm going to come to about halfway on my eyelid, but this little section of my eyelid right here, I'm going to keep this a light color because I want that differentiation between both of my eyes. I'm going to do a little bit more. And this is just a kind of middle transitional color. So this is just a normal daytime look. Honestly, you can totally stop here with mulberry, copper rose, mocha java, whichever one works for you. I'm going to go in here and do the same thing on the other side. And when I blend all of this, I'm going to keep blending. Like I said, I'm going to blend up and out. Get a little bit in here for some color and blend up and out. And honestly, that's really as far as the daytime look needs to go. But if you want to add some more color to it, this is where accent colors come in. So if you're looking at, you know, the light sapphires, the lemon quartz, the amethyst of the world, and you're going, what do we do with those? Those colors are ridiculous. These colors are great with a transition color. You really have to have a transition color. I love amethyst. I use it all the time. I like light sapphire. I've actually never used lemon quartz. I have no idea what that looks like on, but like light sapphire, for instance. Or let's see, what's another one? Silver violet. Like these are kind of crazy colors, right? But if you put on a transition color, and then you're going to take this fluffy brush, and then I actually just dab the fluffy brush onto the wand. Like I don't go crazy with it. I just want a little bit. And then I'm going to take this and I'm going to put it right here on my lid, just out on the outside corner of my lid. And now I have this pretty blue shade, but it's not like wearing 80s blue eyeshadow. I'm not going to go too high up. I'm not going to go too far in. This is just going to be a pretty accent color and still a nice daytime look. And again, I'm just like tap, 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 tap with my blender here. And I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. So you can really pick some pretty colors and play with them. And if you have not been brave enough to try the light sapphires and the silver violets and the lemon quartzes of the world, or even like the denims and ebony essences, you can do those and have fun with them, and they will not make you look like a clown, I promise. So the next thing that I do is, obviously I have fake eyelashes. So I take my little spoolie guy here, brush these little guys out, make sure they're laying right. And because I have fake eyelashes on a daily basis, I don't wear eyeliner on my top eyelid, but I do wear it on my bottom lid. So let me find the right brush. Where is he? Sorry, I have 7,000 brushes, but I only use like 4 of them, so I should probably do something about that. So I have this little brush guy here, and he's got like this little end. And for, sorry, I have like a hair stuck in my eyelashes or something. Oh, got it. Yep, one of my hairs. So for my bottom lashes, because my big top lashes are like, bam, if I don't do anything on my bottom lashes, it looks kind of funny. So I actually take, it depends on the day. Sometimes if I'm just doing light makeup, I'll just do Mocha Java and just run it through my lash line down here. If I'm doing something a little more dramatic, I may use Garnet. So I'm going to do Garnet, and because my face is really far away and I'm looking at the phone, I'm going to have to get kind of close here. And I really just run this through my bottom lashes. I don't even bother with mascara on my bottom lashes. I just run the eyeliner color through it. And if I do eyeliner on my top lid, I do the exact same thing. All I'm doing is taking the tip of my brush and running it across the wand of the eyeshadow, and then I just line my eye with it. If I want to just like soften that a little bit, I just take a, a small fluffy brush and just run it through and soften it. And then at this point, so my eyebrows are microbladed, which means that I paid somebody money to take a tiny razor and make hundreds of little incisions into my face, basically, and then pack them with dye. So they are basically like kind of like permanent cosmetics. But after you've done your eyeliner this way with like garnet or whatever, depending on what your skin tones are and your hair tones and everything, you can use that same brush and just fill in your brow. Brows are important, girls. I can't emphasize the importance of brows enough. There's two things that are really important about your brows: that they start at the right place and that they end at the right place. Let me show you how to figure that out, okay? So for you to know where your brows start, take something. I'm going to like clean this off really quick so I don't accidentally get makeup all over my face. But just take a pen, something like that, and go like right like this. If you have a big nostril, you're going to need to smush your nostril in. But this is where your eyebrow starts. It starts right on the side of your nose. That is where it starts. If it comes in further than that, it needs to be, waxed or whatever. And if it starts out further than that, it needs to be filled in. So this is where your eyebrow starts exactly. Now for where your eyebrow ends, you're going to go from the side of your nose to the corner of your eye, just like this. And that is where the tail ends. If it ends up here, you got to fill it in. If it goes out further, it needs to be waxed or plucked. But that is where your eyebrow ends. And then the arch of your eyebrow, right above your pupil, the same way. So start, arch, end. And if you cut off your eyebrow too soon, like you don't draw the tail all the way out, it is going to close in your face. It's going to make your eyes look smaller. And your eyebrows really create like a frame for your face. So your eyebrow shape and the length and everything is really actually pretty important as far as like the overall symmetry of making your face, like look right. So don't neglect your eyebrows. I know that they're really a pain in the butt, but if you'll just get them professionally shaped every once in a while, you can just pluck in between. And then be sure that when you do your eyebrows that you're bringing them all the way out. Leslie, I've had a baby, so I think my relative threshold for pain may be skewed for other people. I did not cry. It wasn't a big deal. My mom had it done. We were both like, but then I've got this girlfriend who's like super buff CrossFit chick and was like, that hurt like shit. Like she just thought it was crazy. But I didn't think it was really that big of a deal, and I love it, and my brows look good all the time. Leslie, yeah, kind of like a tattoo. Actually, I didn't even think it hurt as much as the tattoo, because the tattoo has like the little like, and this is just honestly like a little incision, like lots of tiny little incisions, and then you pack it with dye, and then the dye, just like gets in there and dyes the incision point on your skin. So I really didn't think it was that big of a deal. So this is like a real daytime look for me. And now I'm going to put on my lip tint. I'm going to clean my lips one last time. All right, guys. It is really important that the last thing that touches your lips before you put on your lip tint is clean water. Leslie, about every maybe year or so. So I've had mine for months, and I'm nowhere near needing a touch-up. So when you put on all of this makeup, all of this skincare, put on the eye illuminator right above here. Some of that's going to get on your lips. You really need to clean your lips off before you apply your lip color. And actually, if I'm not doing a live demo, I do my lip color first. As soon as I brush my teeth, I wipe my lips off and I put my lip color on, and then I do the rest of my makeup. But it looks kind of crazy when you're doing your makeup and you already have your lip color on. So when I'm demoing for other people, I do lip color last. But when I'm just doing it myself, I do it first. So I generally tend to put on, because my lips don't have a lot of pigmentation themselves, if I put on like 3 layers of Bombshell, it just doesn't look great. It's just kind of like too light. So I am going to put on a layer of, I don't know, something else. I'm going to put on a layer of Praline Rose, and then I'm going to put on 2 layers of Bombshell. We'll see what that looks like. So shaking is important. Shaking your lip sense is incredibly important because when you shake your lip sense up, it mixes the alcohol and the color components. If you don't shake it up, you either get too much alcohol and you're not going to get enough color, or you get all color and no alcohol, which is going to create a sticky mess. So this is the Praline Rose. I wipe the thing off on the neck, like the wand. I go in a very thin layers. And you can tell I got way in my lip. So one thing that I notice really fair people want to do is they want to pick a Bombshell, a cappuccino, a really light color because they think that because their skin tone is so fair that a really light color is going to work best for them. And quite honestly, really fair lip colors on really fair people make them look dead. So me, I can't wear 3 layers of Bombshell by itself. I don't think it looks good on me. I think it washes me out too bad. And especially because I have pretty dramatic brows and eyelashes, if I wash my lips out, it just looks crazy. So if I want to wear a Bombshell, I have to put on a layer of something else underneath it. So I put on like Praline Rose. So if you're new to Lip Sense, be sure you're applying it in one direction. So one side, inside out, inside out. And as soon as I get done applying this, I'm going to show you another couple of tricks really quick. So I'm going to do 2 layers of Bombshell. And remember, go all the way into your waterline. Don't mash or rub. And then again, a 3rd layer, very thin. Like you see every single time I wipe my wand off. I do not want my lip color to go on thick. All right. So there's a couple of things that you can do now to make your lips look bigger. One of those is when you're doing the Praline Rose step, is you can overline your lips. Did you see when I applied, I went kind of outside my lips down here around the bottom? See how much bigger that makes my lip look? Because I started with a dark color. I did a first layer of it. I overlined my lips, which I know I can do because it's not going to rub off. And now it looks like I'm almost wearing lip liner and my lips look bigger. So that's one thing you can do to make your lips look bigger. The next thing is after you apply your gloss, so if I don't want like a real glossy look, like I'm kind of liking like the matte natural look, I actually just take it and put it on my finger and I rub it in. I don't even use the wand if I want it to be kind of matte. And I don't use matte gloss much either. And see how right off the bat, it's not shiny. There's not a huge layer of gloss. When people are like, I want matte gloss, I'm like, girl, don't waste your money. Seriously, just don't even use the wand to apply your gloss. Put it on your finger and rub it in. Make sure you go all the way in and just kind of mash it in your lips. They're perfectly comfortable, they're well hydrated, and they are not shiny. Not big and shiny at all. So the last thing that you can do, especially if you want to enhance the size of your lips, eye illuminator. So you can take the eye illuminator and dab it on with a little brush. And go around the outside, and it creates more definition between your lip and the skin around it. And it makes your lips look bigger. Ha ha, cool, huh? So that's totally a thing, and you can do that, and then you can use your gloss very sparingly. You do not need a lot of gloss to keep your lip color on. And when you go to reapply it later in the day, do the same thing. Just put it on your finger, rub it on. Your lips will be smooth and hydrated without having that whole glossy look thing that people are so like, oh, matte is in trend right now. I need matte gloss. I'm like, girl, you don't need matte gloss. You need a finger. You need a finger and glossy, and you will be so happy. So we've got a couple of minutes left, and I'm going to show you really quickly how easy it is to take this look to nighttime. And I'm going to take Garnet, if I can find it. Sorry, I have like 7,000. I'm going to take Garnet. I'm going to take Amethyst. All right. So say you have had this daytime look all day. You're at the office. Yay, go me. I want to go out tonight, and I really want to darken up my eye. Fluffy brush. Nice, big, fluffy brush. Garnet. Take you a dark color. Garnet, Ebony Essence, Onyx. You can totally do Onyx. Don't be afraid. Let's see, what else? Smoked Topaz, Bronze, Shimmer. A lot of those are really fun. So I'm going to just take Garnet here, and I'm going to wipe my brush on the wand. I don't want to go crazy. I'm just going to get like a medium kind of covering here, and I'm going to go in and create that transition. I got a little bit much on it that time, so I'm going to come over here and add some before I go crazy. I'm going to go up pretty high here because, like I said, when I do dark colors on my lids, I want to draw the color out. Same thing over here. I'm going to draw my color up. And I'm not going to go too far in on my lower lid. But I want it kind of dramatic, so I'm just going to keep going in here and blending the heck out of it. Okay, so you see we've got like a darker look, totally not scary, just some Garnet, nice fluffy brush. But this is what I love. This is Amethyst, and when you mix Amethyst and Garnet together, you get this really sweet kind of plummy color. And so I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just dabbing, 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 not going crazy. And I'm going to go in here and I'm going to fill in with some Amethyst. And then I've got one last step after this to show you. And I know it's hard to tell on here, but this is actually like a really pretty plum color. If you go straight in with purple and you don't have transition colors worked in there to make it smoky and dark, it's just going to be a little crazy. So that's why you start out with like a mulberry, come in with a Garnet, blend it in, and then add accent colors, because your accent is generally not going to be your primary color. So the last thing I'm going to show you is my good friend Pink Opal Shimmer. Love me some Pink Opal Shimmer. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add it into the corners of my eye here. And I'm going to take it about halfway over my lid, just on the bottom here, and blend it in a teeny bit. So that way, if you get a little overzealous with your dark colors and you've drug it in too far, you just take a light color and start at the corner. And it gives you an extra bit of drama right here. If you don't like the extra bit of drama, skip it. No big deal. I just kind of like it, and I like having a little shimmer towards the inside of my eye. So I'm going to do the same thing on this side. Take it about halfway over, about right in here. Do a little blending. And that's how easy it is to take it from a day look to an evening look. And with a nice dark eye, I really like kind of a neutral lip anyways. So for me, I'm probably not going to change my lip color, but easy enough. If you want to change your lip color, the easiest way for me to do that is to take a slightly damp washcloth, make sure I have all of my gloss off, and just apply over whatever I have on my lips. I generally don't like remove it with oops and start over. I just remove what I can, make sure the gloss is off, and then apply lip color. So my phone is actually about to die, so I have to wrap it up for today, but I hope that was helpful. And if you have questions I wasn't able to answer because the phone is really about to die, do me some comments on my little reminder that we posted today about the training video, and you can ask any of your questions there, and I'll plug in and respond to them here in just a couple of minutes. So I hope that was useful. I love all our products. They obviously, you know, do a great job, and let me know if you have questions. Bye, guys.